Now, the Minoans were the first ancient civilization in Greece, formerly known as the Sea Peoples, due to their fascination with sea creatures and nature in general. They as well were active in trading overseas. Minoans indulged in the time that they spent outdoors. We can see this transferred over into their artworks. Now, here we have the harvester's vase from the
Αγία Τριάδα.
and city in the island of Crete from 1500 to 1450 BCE. Now, this vase depicts harvesters coming from the fields, joyfully singing and playing instruments. The artist did a tremendous job capturing the moment and the movement of each harvester as they all moved forward with enthusiasm. One specific man right in the middle rocks an Egyptian percussion instrument called a sistrum. The artist made an effort to reproduce the human form, which really displays the physical characteristics of Minoan people. We see that Minoans produce artwork that holds a lightness in spirit, and each piece was covered in bold, flowing, rhythmic movement. And we can observe how the harvester's vase really catches the essence of the exuberance the Minoans shared. They loved to hold ceremonies and celebrations outdoors, but once they wanted to take it inside, they boogied over to the palace of Knossos. All around the palace are mansions and villas of the Minoan elite, but within the palace there are two sections, one for official rooms and the other for ceremonial rooms. All over the palace are beautifully detailed frescoes coating the walls, every inch of it, each one expressing their fondness for nature and athletic and ceremonial activities. Now, one specific fresco in the Knossos Palace portrays the Minoans' most famous ceremonial activity, bull leaping. This was a laborious acrobatic task. Men had to clasp onto a bull's horns and launch onto the animal's back. The artist provided no background, just so the viewer would solidly focus on the character and the story behind it. It is still a mystery whether it is one man in the three scenes or if it's just a man flinging on a bull's back while two women stand on both sides of him as bystanders. We get this idea from the similar Minoan artworks because most women are revealed as light-skinned while the men appear as having very dark complexions. Now, speaking of bodies and their forms, the human form and how the men have this almost twisted view in the fresco, which really catches the attention of the viewer. We are able to comprehend the difficulty in the action of bull leaping by the position of this man launching over the bull upside down. And to add to that, we see that the artist stretches out the body across the fresco of the bull, of course, to depict the strength and the physical power of the beast. But at the same time, it's beautiful. The whole fresco is beautiful as each character in this piece shows perfect balance, commenting one another. The bull leaping fresco and the harvester's vase, both of them are both perfect examples of the flowing and rhythmic personality of the Minoan era. The colors expressed in each artwork are bursting with cheerful spirit.
Hello, I am Samuel Tomasello, and I'm speaking about the Greeks today. The Greeks celebrated in many ways. They held festivals, and sporting competitions, and horse racing. They held competitions to see who the best playwrights were. These were all held to honor the gods Zeus, Apollo, and Dionysus. The festivities started with a processional parade, and then a sacrifice, and then the main event, the sporting events such as the original Olympic Games held in Olympia, or the Pythian races held in honor of Apollo, or competitions to see who the best playwright was to honor Dionysus. You can see how they celebrated in their architecture by their building of amphitheaters and sporting arenas. You can see the heroes which they celebrated. You can see their heroes that they celebrated painted on their amphora and vases and on their frescoes. You can see them built in marble and cast in bronze. Such works as the boxer in bronze and the discus thrower in marble, marathon runners painted on amphora and vessels, all denote those heroes in which they celebrated. The Greeks enjoyed wine and the company of youth and prostitutes. However, their married women were not allowed to their parties at all. It was very much a frat-oriented party. These were sportsmen and athletes, just celebrating and getting down, all in the hope that great Zeus and Apollo and Dionysus and the other pantheon gods would look down on them with favor so that they could win at their events.
Speaking of the ancient world and cultural celebrations, we must mention Pompeii. To be thought of as the Sin City of ancient cultures, they were a passionate people, to say the least. An extremely sexual culture shown even through their deities. Pompeii has a geographically strategic home at the mouth of the Sarnus River. They took influence from their surrounding cultures in order to become the culmination of the ancient cultures that they were. Their neighbors across the bay were the Greeks, until the sea-powered Etruscans reached them, giving Pompeii their true Italian roots, strengthening their love of all things celebration. Once Roman rule fell over the area of Pompeii, they assimilated their culture as well as artistic techniques to the Roman. While these cultures did have impact on Pompeii, it was nothing compared to the impact that would hit them in 79 Common Era. Ironically, Mount Vesuvius erupted following an annual celebration of the fire god Vulcan. The city met its end quickly, completely encased in volcanic ash, for centuries of uninterrupted preservation. This makes Pompeii an extremely unique source of information never before known. Today I broadcast from Pompeii at the House of the Vedi, an actively visited site. I'm here to gaze upon the beautiful frescoes. Paint is a medium not made to stand the test of time, but can and did hold up pristinely under the protection of a sealed volcanic ash. The frescoes here in the House of Vedi are categorically done in the intricate style. It is the final style of the 4 categories of Roman painting of true frescoes. This classification system was established by the 19th century scholar August Mal. The Vedi walls are similar to a salon-style gallery almost. Done in the 4th intricate style, we can't truly understand its characteristics without considering the 3 other classifications of Roman frescoes. The intricate style is, after all, a culmination of its predecessors. To understand the first incrustation style, we go to the House of Faun. We see clear influence from the Greek with its Hellenistic origins. These frescoes hold colorful patchwork walls and brightly painted faux marble. It embraces the flatness of the wall with a decorative embellishment. For the second style, the flatness of the wall is abandoned. Imaginary and illusionistic worlds are laid as views within the walls. Driven with architectural elements, we aptly refer to it as the architectural style. A resurrection in the Met Museum of Art in New York City of P. Fanis Sinistor's bedroom. Interestingly, the painter uses multiple vanishing points to shift the viewer's eyes as the position in the room changes. We see the groundwork for linear perspective, although the scientific method for it wouldn't come until hundreds of years later. As our understanding grows, we come to the third, or ornate style. It abandons the large-scale architectural techniques, but keeps the illusionistic and stylized columns and archways that could only exist in these imaginary worlds. The ornate style has a return to bold panels of color, monochromatic, and bold colors are punctuated by minute, intricate details at their center. The style can still be visited in Pompeii at the Villa of Bosco-Trescas. With all of these styles, we return to the House of Betty, where we now can see the faux marble blocks of the incrustation style, combined with the illusionistic images and imaginary architectural elements from Style 2. This fourth intricate style seems to grow out of the ornate third style, but it is much more developed and somewhat Baroque of a response to the other steps.